we have to ask questions so that they can start processing it. I think sometimes we think we need to have all the answers as parents, but really when we can ask questions and then the kids can tell us like, this is what I saw and this is not comfortable. And doesn't God's word say this? I'm like, yes, let's go look it up.
I've told my girls since they were itty bitty, you can ask me any question in the whole world. No question you ask me is going to surprise me. It's not going to be anything I've never heard about. Anything you want to ask me, and they do because they trust me. Mm-hmm. And I don't act weird and awkward and shy about it. I'm like, you know what? God made the human body. He made relationships. He made boys. He made girls. And this is just how it is. And if they can't come to us as their moms, they're going to go to someone, and it might be something. It could be social media, or it could be someone else that they're going to go to. And you have no idea what kind of answers they're going to get. But I love that this book opens up those opportunities for us to be able to talk with our girls openly, because there's questions that they may not think to ask us, but we can just say, okay, well, let's talk. Like you said, let's talk about what Tricia talked about here and have that open dialogue with them all the time. And so, we were even talking about marriage, and she's like, I don't think I'll have any questions. I said, oh, you will. I said, and it's good. And I want to be the one who's there to talk with you about these things when you get married, because there were things that I didn't know. And my mom and I had a good open, my mom told me the same thing growing up. You can talk to me about anything. You can ask me any question. And I always appreciated that about her. And so that's why I felt that way with my girls as well. But someone's going to answer their questions. And so better for it to be us as their moms who love them and have their best interest in mind than someone who we don't trust and who is not going to give them answers from a biblical perspective. And so it's tough. Tricia, I know you have quite a testimony, and I'm sure that has been huge in the lives of your girls, of being able to share with them some of the mistakes that you've made, but how the Lord has redeemed those. Can you talk a little bit on that? And I actually am kind of rabbit trailing here, because I want to get back to talking about the heart, head, and hands. But since we're on the topic, Tricia, maybe you can talk a little bit about how that has influenced your relationship with your girls.
Absolutely. And I think I mentioned I had a teen pregnancy when I was 17 when I had my son. And then before that, when I was 15, I had an abortion, which is something I really regret, wish I could change that, but God has brought so much healing. And I worked with teen moms for many years and helped start a crisis pregnancy center. So my girls, they've always kind of known this. They've been at the meetings. They've kind of overheard stuff like, why was she talking about being at this guy's house? And the next week she's with this guy. I mean, they've kind of been around me, so they've heard these conversations, but it's been good because I talk about I am telling you these things because I've been there and I've made the mistakes and I know how much it hurts, but I know also how God was able to help me and bring your dad, and then the good solid relationship we have. It's night and day difference. And really, I think so many times we feel like we have to hide our past from our kids, or they're going to think less of us. But I found that when we could have those conversations and oh, I made this mistake, and oh yeah, I used to think this way, but now God has shown me a different way. It helps open their communication, because then if they just think we're perfect and they think that we've never done anything wrong, then they don't feel that they can approach us when something's going on. Now, they come home and they're like, oh my goodness, guess what we saw at the store, or we overheard this, or my friend said this. And another thing I've learned, and this is something we incorporated in the book, is to just turn around and ask questions. Yeah. I think, we can easily go off on the lectures. So last night I'm like, how did that make you feel to see those things when you're shopping? And they're like, it was so uncomfortable. And why would they have pride baby outfits? Babies don't even understand. I mean, all the things. So we have to ask questions so that they can start processing it. I think sometimes we think we need to have all the answers as parents, but really when we can ask questions and then the kids can tell us this is what I saw and this is not comfortable. And doesn't God's word say this? I'm like, yes, let's go look it up. So it just helps to have this open conversation when we share these are my struggles, but this is what has helped me. And what do you think about that? And then if they do have questions or thoughts, we can guide that. So it's just not a lecture, but this ongoing thought. And so the questions in the book are there maybe 3 things in your life that you need to turn over to God? Or have you been so focused on a guy or guys that you really haven't built a relationship with Jesus, what would it look like to really grow in that relationship? And so the questions in this book really can take them to the next level, where it's not mom saying to do this, or even Tricia and Robin saying to do this, but as they process it, they get to say, oh, I want to make this change for myself. And it's coming from them and just not these adults that are telling them what to do.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.